Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Tuesday, March 5th, known as Super Tuesday here in an election year. There's a lot of stuff going on in the electoral races and things of that nature to figure out who the candidates are going to be for the country here, but we're focused on basketball here at Sports Bets for Free. We have a big day, big slate in the NBA. We also have a lot of college games to get into, a lot of ranked teams. So let's get started with the madness here. So first game we're going to be on, I'm going to go through a couple games here that we haven't quite bet yet, but we may. So I'll mention this probably at the end of the show especially, but our Google Sheets at the end of every episode that we do, there will be a link in the comments section. It'll read docs.google.spreadsheet, bunch of other stuff behind it. That's a link into our betting ledger, what bets we took and what juice we got those at, how many units and what book we placed them at, then obviously the result on that. So a couple games we were looking at, Syracuse-Clemson. Syracuse does not play well on the road. Clemson plays pretty well at home. 9.5 point favorite there. We haven't played anything yet, but we have a lean toward Clemson. Alabama going to Florida. Florida 1.5 point favorite here. A couple ranked teams. Obviously, Alabama ranked a little bit higher, kind of struggling down the stretch here as Tennessee's taking control of the SEC. But total of 176.5 is pretty interesting as well, as both teams like to score and score in bunches. And another game at that same time slot, Notre Dame, North Carolina, 15.5 point favorite for North Carolina, 138.5 total. North Carolina should, absolutely demolish here on Notre Dame and cruise to a 25 point win, but a 15.5 points sounds like a bunch, so we're going to take a look at that game as well. But we will get a game we have played, or we have bet, Illinois at home against Purdue, Big Ten. It's not necessarily on the line. Purdue kind of has a big stranglehold on this, but this is a huge game. A chance for Illinois to get a win against a top 5 team is also a big thing. Purdue has not necessarily played fantastic on the road. Illinois, it's going to boil down to a couple different things. Number one, avoiding the meltdown in the second half that they've been doing way too many times so far this season, and being able to, not go through those lulls in scoring on this one. We do like Illinois in this matchup, so we did take Illinois -0.5 first half. And we got this game was basically at a pick 'em as well, so Illinois money line for the game. Illinois -0.5 first half and money line for the game. Next game we're looking at here, it's going to be Duquesne. Actually, we got to play here, Duquesne and VCU. VCU 5.5 point favorite, total around 136.5. If you don't know, Duquesne is one of the best teams in the country to the under against the number on this one here. I think VCU gets a win here, but I think Duquesne slows this pace down. They also don't make a lot of shots. Hell, in the first half in the last game, Duquesne was a pretty sizable favorite, and the total didn't even get to 50 in the first half. So we will take Duquesne VCU under 63.5 first half and under 136.5 for the game. Duquesne and VCU under 63.5 first half, under 136.5 for the game in that one there. Another game we're looking at is Liberty Middle Tennessee. We haven't played it yet. Liberty 5.5 point favorite on that one, but that's a line that's a little fishy there. It's right around that key number of 5. Liberty should kind of, I think, roll away with that one and get a double-digit win on that one. Next game we are on, South Florida at home against Tulane. South Florida has been fantastic as of late. They're a 7.5 point favorite, 156.5 total. I'll be really honest with you. I was kind of surprised at 7.5. I thought it would be closer to 10 on this one. South Florida is definitely the best team in this conference. I don't see Tulane, unless they just get absolutely hot shooting the ball, being able to stick with South Florida here. So we do like South Florida -4 first half. -7.5 for the game. South Florida -4 first half and -7.5 for the game. Next game up for us, Cleveland State, IUPUI. IUPUI, one of the worst teams against the number. Hell, they even lost to Detroit Mercy this season. They're even worse on the road. This line opened at 15.5. It's moved like 16.5 at most books. But we did take Cleveland State here yesterday. You got to, when you're betting college basketball and you see opening lines for the following day, now, a lot of times they're not open real early. It's later on in the day. But these teams that are going to get faded fast, kind of like IUPUI, you got to kind of jump on the bandwagon a little bit early. But no problem if you did, and I still think 16.5 is nowhere near enough points for IUPUI to cover. So Cleveland State minus 9.5 first half, minus 15.5 for the game. One more time, Cleveland State minus 9.5 first half, minus 15.5 for the game. Ole Miss and Georgia is very interesting. This line keeps moving towards Georgia. Georgia's played pretty well at home on that one, so it should be interesting to see there. Ole Miss has been really good at home, but not so on the road, and they've struggled as of late on that one. But that's a game we're probably going to have to go back and take another peek at one more time to see where the line movement ends up. So those Google Sheets at the end of every episode that we do, extremely important as it gets all the updated bets on there. So let's see. We'll get into the next game we're looking at here. Providence, Georgetown. I understand Providence necessarily, they're getting their butt whooped here and there. But Georgetown is just absolutely horrible. This is a fade against Georgetown. I'm not quite sure how they're only an 8.5-point dog, really, against anybody except DePaul out in the Big East. They are not a quality basketball team. They're a little bit better than DePaul in the conference, but not much. But we did take Providence. This line's already moved 2.5 points. It looks like it might move back the other way, but Providence minus 4 first half, minus 6.5 for the game. One more time, Providence minus 4 first half, minus 6.5 for the game. And then we'll get into the next game we're on here. Cincinnati going to Oklahoma. Cincinnati's played tough at home. Oklahoma's been really good at home. Well, they're in Norman this time at Oklahoma. I don't know. The line's right around that key number of 5.5. I'll be honest with you. I mean, Oklahoma they have played some. They play on the road. They've been a little back and forth a little bit. They played some of the teams not so good in the Big 12 better, obviously on the road. But at home, they can compete with anybody in the Big 12, except maybe Houston on that one. But we do like that Oklahoma number there, and it went up from 4.5 to 5.5 where it opened yesterday. But Oklahoma minus 2.5 first half, minus 4.5 for the game. One more time, Oklahoma minus 2.5 first half, minus 4.5 for the game. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State's also interesting there. Oklahoma State's played pretty well at home as well, and they're getting 2.5 at home. Next game up that we are on, though, is going to be Milwaukee at home against Detroit Mercy, one of the worst records out there in college basketball. Milwaukee right around 11.5-point favorite. This is just a fade against Detroit Mercy. Kind of roll, you got to step on a man's throat when they're down, and this kind of fits that mold to the T. So Milwaukee minus 6.5 first half, minus 11.5 for the game against Detroit Mercy. One more time, Milwaukee minus 6.5 first half, minus 11.5 for the game. Let's see here. Air Force Wyoming's pretty interesting as well. Wyoming's actually a favorite at home. That's a game we need to probably look at one more time. Dayton going to St. Louis. Dayton almost a 10-point favorite there. Interesting game. Wake Forest and Georgia Tech. St. John's DePaul. That number is just huge. I don't know if St. John's can cover 20 against anybody, and they're at 19.5. Auburn, Missouri's another one of those. But Missouri has covered a few games as of late, even though they are winless in the SEC. Kansas State going to Kansas. This line has blown up. It opened around 9.5, 10. Now it's up to 11.5 at some books. Kansas State, of course, wins in Manhattan at home, but going on the road to Lawrence is a different animal. And I expect Kansas to be pretty pissed off as they're going to barely finish in the top 4 or 5 here in the Big 12 Conference. Florida State going to Pittsburgh. Pitt, a 7.5-point favorite. Something we'll also take a look at. Last 2 games of the day, though, we are on. So they're both 9 o'clock Arizona games, which means 11 o'clock Eastern time. So one of those ones, unless you work the night shift, probably not going to be awake for those. You'll be asleep and wake up to some winners. But we do love Boise State here. They have been really good at home. They beat New Mexico last game out. Nevada's played well. I have no question about that. We've been on Nevada a bunch. I just think Boise State's one of those places to play really tough out in the Mountain West. So we're going to take Boise State here, roll with the home team. Boise State minus 2.5 first half, minus 5.5 for the game. One more time, Boise State minus 2.5 first half, minus 5.5 for the game. And then the last college game of the night, same time, 9 o'clock Phoenix time, so 11 out east. San Diego State, one of the best teams in the Mountain West, going to UNLV. San Diego State, a 2.5-point favorite here. I'll be really honest. I'm surprised this wasn't a pick'em. UNLV plays extremely well at home. San Diego State has struggled on the road against conference foes a little bit, so we will take the 2.5 with UNLV. We find a lot of value there. UNLV plus a half first half, plus 2.5 for the game. One more time, UNLV plus a half first half and plus 2.5 for the game. Now we'll get into the NBA slate. Like I said, a lot of games. Looks like there's 9 games in the NBA tonight, much bigger slate than last night. We'll start off with the first game here. Magic going to the Hornets. Magically currently around an 8.5-point favorite, 207.5 total. So if anybody can figure out what the hell's going on with the Hornets, besides they're just really bad and don't seem to be trying much, feel free. The Magic making that run as we kind of expect in the second half of the season, as the schedule looked really favorable as they make a playoff push here. Banchero's been playing really well the last few games. They seem to be shooting better from three. Franz Wagner's back fully healthy. In the Hornets, it boils down to Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, and maybe a little bit of Nick Richards. But I'll be honest with you here, that 8.5 number, it just smells like it did against the Pistons, where the Pistons kind of kept the game close and the Magic kind of pulled it out late. So we're going to stay away from side and total on this particular matchup, but we do have a bunch of player props, and let's get into those. Paolo Banchero over 21.5 points. Banchero over 6.5 rebounds. Also 8+ rebounds and 10+ rebounds. Also we'll take 25+ points and 30+ points for Banchero, as I don't think he's going to see a lot of defense coming his way, and there's not really a rim protector for the Hornets, so he should have a lot of drives to the basket and probably a lot of and ones to boot. Banchero over 34.5 par. Miles Bridges over 2.5 turnovers. We go back to that one again, as that cash is on a 70% clip, it seems like, on that one. And then we'll go to Brandon Miller. He's been the one, the number 2 pick in the draft. He's actually been putting up some points. His minutes a little restricted, but that's okay. Brandon Miller over 18.5 points, over 2.5 threes, so 3+ threes, 4+ threes for Miller as well. So one more time in this Magic Hornets matchup, Banchero over 21.5 points, 25+ points, 30+ points. Banchero over 6.5 rebounds, 8+ rebounds, 10+ rebounds. Banchero over 34.5 par. Miles Bridges for the Hornets over 2.5 turnovers. Brandon Miller over 18.5 points, 3+ threes, and 4+ threes. Next game up on the schedule, Celtics going to the Cavs. So Porzingis he's a game time decision, but it looks like he should probably play. Little irritated with that he didn't play in the last game against the Warriors. I think they would have, they won by 50, but hell, they might have won by 60 on that one there. But no problem there. The Celtics did, the problem was they got such a big lead, they fumbled the over away, but it's all right, right? They hit the first half, the first quarter, they were shooting lights out. Got some stars, some rest. Now they go to the Cavs. They're an 8-point favorite here. No Donovan Mitchell. He's out for at least, 3 more games at a minimum with a bone bruise in his knee. The Cavs have struggled since the All-Star break. No question. And I don't see this getting any better with the best team in the East coming in, maybe the best team in the NBA. They are a complete team. They don't really have many weaknesses unless they're just ice cold from 3. They shoot the most threes, they make the most threes, they have one of the better percentages of made threes in the league, and they can play defense, especially Drew Holiday on that. Porzingis, though, should have a lot of opportunities. Now, the Cavs do have 2 guys in the middle that can protect the rim, in Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen has been not good, so has not put up a bunch of stats anyway since the All-Star break. Mobley's kind of had a few games here and there that were good. Darius Garland, though, without Mitchell in the lineup, has played pretty well. He's had a couple of big nights as well where he's been hitting 5+ threes. We do like the Celtics in this matchup here. I just think they got way too much firepower with no Donovan Mitchell on the floor, even if Porzingis is out. So Celtics -2.5 first quarter, -4.5 first half, -8 for the game. Darius Garland, we mentioned earlier, over 22.5 points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes in this one. Porzingis, over 18.5 points, 2+ threes, and 2+ blocks. Jarrett, an over 27.5 par, excuse me. And then Jarrett Allen, under 10.5 rebounds. As his rebounds have went way down since the All-Star break on that. So one more time in this Celtics-Cavs matchup. Celtics -2.5 first quarter, -4.5 first half, -8 for the game. Darius Garland for the Cavs, over 22.5 points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes. Jarrett Allen with the Cavs, under 10.5 rebounds. And then we've got Porzingis, over 18.5 points, 2+ threes, over 27.5 par, and 2+ blocks for Porzingis as well. Next game up on the schedule is going to be Raptors-Pelicans. Raptors at home, 9.5-point home dog. No Scotty Barnes until at least April. At that point, you might as well shut him down for the season if there's only going to be a couple weeks left. Pelicans, they've been really good at home. Looks like they should make the playoffs, or at least a play-in at worst. They've been up and down a little bit, might be the easiest way. And it's hard. If you like betting player props, the Pelicans might be one of the toughest teams to get a significant read on here. They seem to be just barely over, just barely under point props, threes, stuff like that. So if you like betting the props, they're a tough market to bet. But we don't like that 9.5 number. I'll be really honest with you. The Pelicans sometimes can absolutely struggle on the road. I don't think, they could still, obviously they could lose this game. The Raptors have played pretty well. Emmanuel Quickley, since being traded from the Knicks, has shown that he can probably be a solid point guard. I mean, being a Suns fan, I'd love to have Emmanuel Quickley on the team. He can definitely get the offense going, plus get his own offense going, and help out his team. But we do like some player props in this one, mainly around Emmanuel Quickley here. So we do have one prop, 6+ rebounds for Zion on the Pelicans, and then it's all Quickley from there for us. So Quickley, 20+ points. Emmanuel Quickley, 25+ points. 3+ threes, 4+ threes, 5+ threes, and over 32.5 par. So one more time in this Pelicans-Raptors matchup, Zion, 6+ rebounds. Emmanuel Quickley, 20+ points, 25+ points. And then Quickley, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, 5+ threes, and over 32.5 par. Next game up, Pistons at the Heat. The Pistons quit in the last game, so that was really exciting, especially when you're sitting on a bunch of Cade Cunningham tickets. I don't understand necessarily what's going on there. I'll be really honest. Like, Cade Cunningham was on fire coming out of the break, and then all of a sudden we reverted back to this where we need to dish it to everybody. And, of course, the Pistons do not have a lot of scorers on that team. So Jaden Ivey takes a ton of shots, necessarily not, but he scores. Jalen Duren in the middle can rebound, but he didn't rebound in the last game. Ausar Thompson, the rookie, has been a good rebound for it, but all of a sudden he's taken a bunch of threes, and they weren't even remotely close. And now you're going against a Heat team that's making a push towards the playoffs. Heat are looking to get out of that play-in area and get a solid, be inside that top 6 and try to make their run from there. It's been rough for the Heat this season, no question about it. Ton of injuries. You don't know who's playing on a nightly basis. It's been tough for them. And then obviously they didn't get the Damian Lillard trade they wanted at the start of the season. The Bucks went up and snagged him. But we're going to stay away from the side of 11.5 point spread and 217 total here. We do like some player props in this game. We're going back to Cade Cunningham again. We just hope that you realize Cade Cunningham needs to be, I understand he's the point guard, but he needs to be a scorer. So Cade Cunningham, 20+ points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, over 30.5 par. And then we like Ausar Thompson for 6+ rebounds and 8+ rebounds. If he stays where he's supposed to and doesn't go out to the three-point line all the time, this guy could be a 10-rebound-a-night guy and plays defense. That's what they need, like a 3-and-D wing, except he doesn't shoot the three worth of shit. But the defensive wise, though, he can't present. He is long, athletic, and he can't get a lot of boards. So the defensive wise, I think they found a defensive stopper there, and they've got a rim protector. Now all of a sudden, now we need scoring. So that Cade Cunningham on that one, on those, and then we also like Duncan Robinson being at home on that one as well. So 3+3s, 4+3s, and 5+3s for Duncan Robinson. We stayed away from the point total. We'll focus it on threes. If he's scoring more times than not, it's going to be from 3-point land anyway. So one more time, Pistons in the Heat. Cade Cunningham, 20+ points. 2+3s, 3+3s, and 4+3s. Please shoot more three-pointers, Cade. You're pretty good percentage-wise from three. Offense seems to click a little bit better as well. Then we also like Cunningham over 30.5 par. Oscar Thompson from the Pistons, 6+ rebounds, 8+ rebounds. And then Duncan Robinson for the Heat, 3+3s, 4+3s, and 5+3s. Next game up on the board, 76ers at the Nets. Nets coming off a back-to-back. So they played 2 fantastic games against Atlanta. Lots of energy, lots of defense, ball moving around. What was the shit last night against the Grizzlies? It looked like Cam Thomas was back in the lineup. I kept looking for his jersey number, and he's not there. What is that all about? I understand Bridges didn't have a great shooting night. I apologize to everybody out there for the best bet yesterday. And part of the ladder challenge is he was nowhere near where I thought he would be after coming off 2 great games against Atlanta. Maybe he needs to play Atlanta all season long. But the Grizzlies do not have a fantastic defense. So I'm not quite sure what the hell was going on with all of that last night. It was pitiful. I don't know how to bet either side of this at a pick'em or 1 or 212.5 total. I'll be really honest with you. 76ers have been really Jekyll and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde since Embiid went out. Tobias Harris was on a 10-game under streak on his player prop, and then all of a sudden in the last 2 he's been on fire. Not quite sure how you're going to handicap this game on a side or a total. We are going back to the well, though, on some player props. Mikal Bridges over 22.5 points, over 31.5 par, 3+3s and 4+3s. We hope he gets back to a good shooting night after having a pitiful one last night against the Grizzlies, who defensively are not strong. I swear, it's like NBA teams see the Grizzlies on the board and they come out and they half-ass it. It's what it really feels like because the Grizzlies have nobody. The Grizzlies have a bunch of guys that probably won't qualify for the G League. And all of a sudden, they muck games up like nobody's business. I swear they just see the name coming up and they decide, oh, well, this is going to be an easy win. We can kind of coast here. And it doesn't work that way. And Dennis Schroeder playing 40-plus minutes. When did Dennis Schroeder become like an all-star? He's not. Get him out of the lineup. He wants to play too much pick and roll when this team needs to play motion. But anyway, we'll get back to the bets we do have. Mikal Bridges over 22.5 points, 3+3s, 4+3s, over 31.5 par in that one. Next game up, the Hawks, Knicks. So Jalen Brunson goes out in the last game in the first 30 seconds with a knee bone bruise, and somehow he's a game-time decision. I am shocked he's not out. I expect him to be out. I just think the Knicks are going to kind of play this to the best and kind of keep their cards to themselves because if he's out, oh my God, what are they going to do? Now Josh Hart has to be your number 2 scorer instead of your number 3 scorer. DiVincenzo has to be a primary, even though he's not a primary scorer. It's looking nasty. The Knicks they had a lot of wins early. Thank God they banked those because they're going to need them in order to hold spots coming down the road here. Hawks going to Madison Square Garden, though. The Hawks just played 2 games against the Nets where they showed no energy whatsoever in those 2 games. They even got a 15-point lead in the first half and gave that all away by halftime, and third quarter just got steamrolled in both. Knicks here, 3-point favorite. I'm not sure how you can make the Knicks a favorite, not knowing what's going on with Jalen Brunson. This line will move a bunch if he's not playing. We're expecting him not to play, but we're not getting on top of any side or total in this one. Just some player props for us. Josh Hart and DeJounte Murray are going to dominate the 2. So DeJounte Murray over 22.5 points. Murray over 36.5 par. over 8.5 assists, and then also 10 plus assists. Josh Hart, 2 plus threes, over 10.5 rebounds, and 15 plus points. So one more time in this Hawks-Knicks matchup, DeJounte Murray over 22.5 points, 2 plus threes, 3 plus threes, over 36.5 par, over 8.5 assists, and then also 10 plus assists as well, as it was plus 200 on FanDuel for 10 assists for DeJounte on that one. Josh Hart over 14.5 points, 2 plus threes, and then when it's Josh Hart, you got to bet his rebounds, right? Over 10.5 rebounds for Josh Hart as well in that one. Next game up, Spurs at the Rockets. Line it looked like it was 6.5 when it opened, now 7.5. Spurs have been playing a little bit better. They beat the Thunder, obviously, in that game. Now they go back on the road. They don't have to go very far, just going to Houston. Houston is a much better team against the number on the road, but a 7.5-point favor for Houston, I think, is asking quite a bit. Number I thought should have been closer to 4.5, maybe even 5, but given the Spurs 7.5, the way Wemby's kind of been playing has been ridiculous. Wemby is been out of control. He is fun to watch. If you need a reason to watch NBA basketball, may I give you one? His name is Victor Wembanyama. I understand he's like 25 foot tall, but he has been blocking shots like a madman. He's even getting rebounds again. He's been averaging right around 12 rebounds here lately for the last few. He's been scoring as well from all 3 levels. Mainly 2, 3-point range, and then down near the basket. But he's been impressive. It's been a lot of fun to watch him. The game against the Thunder, when him and Holmgren, the 2 rookies, even though it's technically Holmgren's second year, were going at it. It was a lot of fun to watch. Thought the Thunder would win that game, but Wembanyama was playing well, and the guys around him were shooting like mad crazy as well. We do like the Spurs in this matchup. We're going to take the points, but Spurs plus 2.5. First quarter, plus 4 first half, plus 7.5 for the game. Bunch of Wemby stuff here, and also one on Alperen Sengun under 21.5 points. I think dealing with Wemby, he's going to have a little tougher time to score, even though Wemby's still not playing 32, 34 minutes. He's down in that 28 to 30 minute range. But we love Wemby here tonight as well. Over 23.5 points, 25 plus points, 30 plus points, 2 plus threes, 3 plus threes, over 11.5 rebounds, over 39.5 par. Wemby for 4 plus blocks, 5 plus blocks, and then 4 plus turnovers, as the Rockets do turn teams over a lot, especially at home. And when you're 100 foot tall, if you dribble the ball, they got a lot of opportunity to try to steal it, plus passing lane, stuff like that. So, being a young guy, they're going to turn the ball over a little bit more as well. Hell, James Harden turns the ball over damn near the same rate, and James Harden a lot smaller and been in the league a lot longer. So one more time on this Spurs-Rockets matchup. Spurs plus 2.5 first quarter, plus 4 first half, plus 7.5 for the game. You got Sengun under 21.5 points, Wemby over 23.5 points, 25 plus points, 30 plus points, 2 plus threes, 3 plus threes, 12 plus rebounds, over 39.5 par, 4 plus blocks, 5 plus blocks, and 4 plus turnovers. Next game up, Mavs, Pacers. How is this only 4.5? The Pacers have been absolutely dreadful on this road trip. The Mavs are normally pretty good at home. They're a better actually cover team on the road. I'm surprised this number's not over 5. Halliburton's been playing like dog doo-doo. Doncic has been on a ridiculous scoring pace. Like I said, I'm not sure how the number's 4.5, but we went ahead and take that and say thank you. And if the game plays out like it should, this should be a cruise win. But Mavs -1 first quarter, -2.5 first half, -4.5 for the game. Halliburton, we're going unders again as it's been cashing like crazy. Under 19.5 points, under 2.5 threes, under 34.5 par, under 10.5 assists, even though we wrote on that one. And then also over 1.5 turnovers. On that game there. Let's see here. So, my apologies, I wrote the wrong thing in there. I wrote rebounds, and I know it's assists. because everybody would bet Halliburton under 10.5 rebounds, right? So, and then we've got Luka over 34.5 points. The numbers creeped up. It is the Pacers defense, and they don't play a lot of it, and at home. Luka 4+ threes. That was plus money tonight. Luka 10+ assists and over 53.5 par, as we expect him to have a big one. We've also got P.J. Washington for 2+ threes as well. He went 1 for 7 from the field in the last game. Hopefully some home cooking helps him out here, and he hits at least 2-3 3-pointers in that one. So one more time in this Mavs-Pacers matchup. Mavs -1 first quarter, -2.5 first half, -4.5 for the game. Halliburton under 19.5 points, under 2.5 threes, under 34.5 par, under 10.5 assists. We're also going to do Halliburton over 1.5 turnovers. We also like P.J. Washington hit 2+ 3-pointers tonight. Luka over 34.5 points, over 3.5 threes, so 4+ threes for Luka. Luka triple-double, was +290 on FanDuel. And Luka over 53.5 par. Also, Luka 10+ assists. That's good odds on FanDuel as well. Last game of the night is going to be Nuggets Suns. We are in Denver. The line has just moved. It was 9.5. Now it seems 8.5 in some spots. So the Suns have been one of the best under teams since the All-Star break, 6-0 to the underside. Devin Booker's out tonight. The Suns have struggled. First of all, losing that game to Houston, and then they lose another home game to the Thunder right after that. 2 shitful games in a row. Should be embarrassed with that lineup, the big three and all the pieces around it. Ugly, to put it mildly. Nuggets making a run to try to get that top seed or top 1 or 2 seeds in the West as they try to make a run at a second championship. I don't know what else to tell you besides that. Aaron Gordon normally feasts at home, especially against the Suns, so we like Aaron Gordon points tonight. And it's Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal and Nurkic basically playing for the Suns. So we're going to take the Nuggets in this one, and we got it at the 9.5. I guess we should have waited a couple minutes, but I honestly think the Nuggets are going to win here by 15+. But Nuggets -3 first quarter, -5.5 first half, -9.5 for the game. Kevin Durant under 28.5 points. I just think they're going to throw 2 guys at Durant all night, make everybody else beat you. Aaron Gordon 15+ points. Jokic over 12.5 rebounds, over 47.5 par. We'll also sprinkle some on Jokic 14+ rebound and 16+ rebounds. And then the Suns under the 107.5 team total, as they've struggled to get there, let alone in Denver against a much better defense in the Nuggets. So one more time, Nuggets -3 first quarter, -5.5 first half, -9.5 for the game. Durant under 28.5 points. Aaron Gordon 15+ points. Jokic over 12.5 rebounds, 14+ rebounds, and 16+ rebounds. Also Jokic over 47.5 par, points, assists, rebounds combined. And then the Suns under the 107.5 team total. Make sure you shop that around. There was a bunch of 106s as well. If you're going under, there wasn't much of a juice difference. FanDuel had that at -115 for under 107 versus 106 in a lot of spots. So we mentioned this a couple times throughout the show. At the end of every episode that we do, in the comments section, there will be a link to our Google Sheets as a ledger of all of our bets, because like today, for example, we already have over 100. We are a volume better, so this is going to be the Bible for you. Is probably not going to be able to follow along with all the bets during the episode. And then we also give you some leans on some games we still might play yet. So that docs.google, that spreadsheet, bunch of other stuff behind it, that is a link to our Google Sheets. There's multiple sports. So if you wanted to look at football from the last couple of years, you can see that. You can see baseball from last year and what futures we have so far this year. Also basketball, which we just went through all of those. We also have a separate tab for kind of the miscellaneous type stuff. Or we like betting golf. We love betting Formula One, stuff like that. We've already got some golf bets, and we already have some Formula One bets as well that we already have in there. So if you want to check those out, please feel free to do so. That's what it's there for. It's there for reference. Also, if you don't have time to check out the show on a certain day, because you get a little busy, you can click back to this anytime you want, and those will have the updated plays. Or if we miss a show, which we occasionally do. You can use that as well. So make sure you check those Google Sheets out when you get some time. And as always, if you can subscribe and get notifications to our YouTube channel, so when we drop our bets, you get those first. It makes life extremely simple to find us. Once you hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on for YouTube. You will get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped some new bets. And then it gives you time to match them up with your bets and give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window. I do appreciate everybody's support as always and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.